Hey people, welcome back for another episode of the Jagged Edge. This is Ian here along with Chris.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, happy to tune in. We're both pretty fresh off of Alien Covenant. Not as fresh as we were off of Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw that. We
No,
gave
that was a little too fresh.
Yeah.
That was a little too fresh. We're not quite that fresh. We're a little ripe now.
Ready to pick. Try to give this one a little more time to process, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll get into
That
that.
being said, let me just interrupt, and I know that's your favorite thing, but let me just interrupt. Is there anything you want to say about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 since we did see that now? So, like, when we reviewed Logan, you had just seen it, and I'd seen it, I think, for about a week.
Right.
And then when we did Guardians of the Galaxy 2, we had both just seen it, like, within hours. I think I was, like, 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Now, we're 24 hours away from Alien Covenant, but is there anything else that you wanted to say about Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No, not anything that I have, man. In hindsight, I mean, there was some more. We talked about the whole Atom thing. If anything, that's what stuck with me most. That I'm interested to see how that's going to play out and how it's going to follow it, because their treatment of Vision, I think, could have been something completely different. But that surprised me. So, and I think Atom will too.
Okay. All right. No, I don't have anything to say, anything to change that either. But all right. So we have a lot came out this week. Besides reviewing Alien Covenant, a lot happened. I'm going to kick it off.
Yeah, please. I mean, we got games, stuff about gaming, stuff about shows, movies. So jump right in.
So, couple things just real quick. We've been talking a lot about Wonder Woman and how that's going to be. And like I said, I'm going to come out either one or two ways from watching that. I'm either going to be smiling or I'm going to be laughing. Reviews are starting to come out. People who have seen it over the last few weeks, the embargo is being lifted on what they can say, and a lot of them are saying that this movie is fantastic. Some are even saying it's the best DC movie made yet. Not just the DCEU, but best DC movie yet. See,
saying that's instantly going to place that in some like Nolan tier. Now we're in Dark Knight, zone. Batman 2.
I'm not sure how it can contend with that, but some are saying that it does. I'm not saying that it does. I'm saying it's going to come out in 2 weeks and we'll review it then. But some are saying, some people. And if you go on YouTube, you will find some people saying that. You might find some people saying other things too. But, the DCEU needs a win, and it sounds like they're going to get it.
We've been saying it the last few weeks. We want them to have it. We ideally we want to see this succeed.
Yeah.
And I hope it does, because and Wonder Woman is just one of those that everyone knows her character, but you can't necessarily place an instant villain. In other words, Batman is to Joker as Lex Luthor is to Superman, or Darkseid, etc.
Or Superman 4.
Exactly, or Superman 4. Wonder Woman just doesn't have that. I think of Cheetah and the Invisible Jet, but that's all I got.
Invisible Jet, that's so awesome. It's sounding really good. So that's something that came out this week. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, DCEU needs a win, and sounds like they're going to get it. And we will find out in 2 weeks. The masses will find out.
Last note on that, for me at least, Wonder Woman was the star of Batman vs Superman.
I would say she was definitely a highlight. I think for me, Batman comes out on top for that, though.
Yeah, fair enough. I think she really didn't.
As Batman, I think was the best for me, but she was definitely a definite cool surprise.
Yeah, it was.
I knew she was going to be in there. I didn't know it was going to be all that, though.
Right. It's especially having her go like head up against Doomsday and everything. I think she's a character that's easy to downplay if you're just thinking. She's limited in certain ways, but Wonder Woman's hardcore, and they're not backing off from that. So, press on.
All right, yeah. So, other comic book movie news: Tom Hardy will be playing Eddie Brock in the upcoming Sony's Venom movie. That's a good. I mean, Tom Hardy's awesome. I've got nothing to say bad about that. love some of his stuff. So, and also Ruben Fleischer, director from Zombieland, will be directing this.
Uh,
So they're getting serious about this thing. But the fact that they picked him for the director kind of tells me that they are definitely going for the R-rated kind of movie universe like we had heard.
right, right. And
But,
if again, if handled right, if balanced delicately, that can be successful. I think doing it for the sake of doing it, or doing it for the sake of what's trending, you can go in dangerous grounds with that.
oh, definitely. No, people don't like to be patronized like that. So, but if that's kind of world that they're going to build, then it'll be great.
I'm with it. I know one thing. I'm going to be curious to see if Tom Hardy is required, kind of like what he did for Bane, if he's going to go through any, kind of strenuous training or anything like that. He kind of, if I recall in very few interviews, he complained about that a bit. Just how forceful it was in his body to go through a transformation like that, and then to come, back down off of that after the last Batman film. So, but it depends how they present Brock. Eddie Brock has. This is what I'm really interested in. If he'll be a reporter, you kind of squared off, sort of on the side, or apropos to Peter Parker. Will he be a researcher? He's son of a scientist. He's been that in the Ultimate Spider-Man series. There's a lot of room to play with how you're going to base him, his origin.
Yeah, no, that's interesting as a whole. I mean, is Spider-Man even going to be a part of this universe?
Right.
How do they change that? Yeah. But good stuff. Good stuff so far. I'm not bitching yet. But let's get to the next one.
The Gifted, I believe.
The Gifted.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a while ago when we were talking about all the X-Men stuff. That is the name of the show, The Gifted.
And this is the part that hurt. As I was, because I took a look at this trailer late. You pointed it out to me. But confirmed to be a part of the X-Men movie universe. What does that mean by this point?
I have no idea. It means the same thing that Deadpool being a part of the X-Men movie universe means, which is what the hell does that mean? But anyways, let's talk about the trailer. Let's talk about some of the information here. Let's see. You get to see a few things in there. It looks like Thunderbird is, and it's being suggested that one of those guys is Thunderbird.
Right.
Who, I mean, I know who that is. I'm not a big fan one way or the other. I have not read much with him. Blink, also a mutant that's going to be in there. But the one that strikes me the most is Polaris.
Yeah.
Daughter of Magneto. You get to see her a couple times. And as we'd heard for a while now, the show is based on a family who struggles with the fact that the brother and sister are mutants. It goes a little bit more into that. The father works for the government and I believe has captured mutants in the past and such. The pilot's going to be directed by Bryan Singer. Okay, overall, what was your feeling on this?
Mixed. The one is that, okay, I think it can be a good thing for the X-Men verse to sort of go outside of the lens we're normally seeing this through. Again, we're from the perspective of a familiar group of mutants, or through Xavier, or his school, or Cyclops, Wolverine, etc., etc. We get to step out of that, seeing the larger mutant issue in the world. Cool perspective. As for stretching out X-Men and making it part of something greater, that could be an absolute mess. Very worried about how they're actually going to go about doing that in a clean way. Won't lie though.
There is no clean way.
I mean, hey, if you reset it again, no, that's not clean. Never mind.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
You're the X-Men guy.
The one thing that besides some of the basics that I mentioned that I think can be cool, and I talked about this before, the Brotherhood. I've always liked their role in the X-Men verse, and they've always made a great opposition party to Xavier's dream and everything he stood for.
Really touched in the movies.
Right. I've always felt that that's a walking plot device waiting to happen. There's a lot to expound upon there. There's so much you can do for the members of it who's coming into it. You could go origins of it being built. You could have it established and showing what's their effect on the greater world. Heck, I almost argue if they went more that direction and spun off more into the way the Brotherhood was trying to operate, not always running into the X-Men, of course, but what are the things they were doing negatively, or in their view, achieving for mutants? Hey, okay. I think that might be there. That might be a safe way to sort of skate around, this weird expanding universe. Have it be another story. It's already happening with something else concurrently. Leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm not sold on this. I wasn't sold on the premise when we were talking about this before. This is everything that I thought it was going to be. So this didn't change anything for me. I'll check it out. If it has around the same quality that Legion had, okay, I'll watch it. But Legion, we talked about that before. As much as I enjoyed Legion was not what they said it was going to be.
True.
And so I don't know. I think this could be interesting, but they're expanding on a universe that they've mangled. And that just makes me, and I don't say that, I say that not to have a negative connotation to it. I guess, how can you not with the word mangled? But it's like, okay, so you're sidestepping the general characters and stories that we know and that we care about to tell a different story in a universe that you have been completely inconsistent with.
Right.
Which immediately tells me, why should I care about this?
Right. The lack of attachment. I'm with you. The X-Men series has gone through so much tumult and turbulence. At this point, it's really difficult to get sunk in with any portion of it, to get really involved, or to the same levels as we would with some stuff in MCU. That's hard at this point.
No, and it's the fact that the MCU is as consistent as they are, which is not completely, but as much as people could expect, given the different media that they're in with this universe and the TV shows and the movies and everything, it's as concrete as you're going to get. In fact, the MCU shows just how poorly Fox.
Yeah.
How poorly Fox has dealt with this. But it is the consistency that we see with the MCU that drives people to want to take in all the different side pockets of that world.
Right.
And it's the opposite here. It's the inconsistency and the carelessness that Fox has shown with this X-Men universe as to why I don't care.
Part of that I think is simply cash-ins based off the franchise. X-Men is so large and sprawling at this point. Yes, it's recognizable. But how long can you do that without really
right.
hitting the brand? So
yeah, so I mean, when they say this is part of the X-Men movie universe, that literally does not tell me a thing.
No,
it doesn't tell me, because do I think that Hugh Jackman's going to show up in this show? No.
Here's the thing. There's a key disconnect with this.
Is Patrick Stewart going to play Professor X at some point? He didn't even do it in Legion.
I mean,
which they said that we would see him at some point. We'd see Professor X at some point. What we saw his chair.
Yeah, I mean, in Ian McKellen. Or Michael Fassbender. Look, here's the weirdest thing. Fox bills these little hints, these teasers as a point of excitement or something that should ignite the fan base. Hey, this is part of the greater stretch. We're linking this in, tying it in with the rest. There's some cases that would cause cool, you're tying it. Others, no. I mean, understand we don't speak for all fans by any means, of course, but that's a red flag, in my opinion, at least.
Well, I suppose we could see Deadpool, but I'm sure that wouldn't be Ryan Reynolds playing it, or maybe Colossus. He's a CGI character. Look, to their credit, maybe not to their credit, but to be fair, even the MCU doesn't intertwine their movie and TV shows much. They did it a couple seasons ago in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they had some side characters from Thor in there, and it was always awesome when you saw Samuel L. Jackson playing played Fury, but that has been a long time since they've done that stuff. I seriously doubt that they would do that for this TV show. I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I don't think Fox, when they look at this stuff, I don't think they're looking at why things are working. They just look at the fact that it's working for other people and just decide that they're going to make money off of it, which is why their X-Men movies, with the exception of Logan, their X-Men movies for the last few have been mediocre and the worst producing of comic book movies.
Yeah. It just, you can only put enough, so enough of the wrong gas in the pipe for you start getting issues actually running running your vehicle. So, time will tell.
Yeah, okay, so my third topic, I got negative. There it was. No, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to watch it, but I'm definitely pointing out on some of the things that I'm not. I would love to love anything X-Men that comes out, even if they're not part of the MCU. They don't need to be. The MCU and X-Men are big enough to be separate. That would certainly be cool, but they're big enough to be on their own. I would love to enjoy these things. And Logan was great, and Legion was good, but I'm just not buying it yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I will. In my mind, this all ended with Logan. I'm happy with that. End of story.
Right. So but I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna watch it. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. They're on an upswing right now with Logan and Legion. They're on an uptick.
Right.
So there you go. I guess shouldn't be so negative.
You got reason to be. I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I don't want to leave it on a bad note. So,
fair enough.
All right. There we go. We'll watch coming this fall. Okay. All right. Injustice 2 was released this week.
Yeah, this is a big one for the gaming community, man. It's also really exciting too because this is going to be featured in EVO. 2017 for the tourneys. Can't wait to see this played at competitively at a high level. Now, I haven't played this myself. I've loved what I've seen from the trailers. Got a number of friends that have picked it up. I'm in no place to give an objective review on it myself. But I love the direction. I love the character selection I've seen. They've had some great coverage on this, and by all accounts, solid. I was also pretty excited about some of the talent that they use for this. Most of the time, even down to voice acting, ADR, or motion capture, you usually have fairly established crew or work on these things. I thought it was really, really cool that a very recent graduate of the UNL, that's the University of Lincoln, Nebraska, Kara Davidson was her name. She got a chance to actually do all the motion capture for Supergirl. And most of the time, you hear the occasional really cool, like someone catches a voice role. They get a segment like that, or they manage to land that kind of part. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that I saw. It's like, hey, cool. For those of you interested in really getting into the gaming industry and really making your mark, there are still ways to coming right out of school to get right in and involved, and that's exciting. It took me back a bit to in my own background when I was training our multimedia program. This was before they had as robust of a game design and gaming section as they do now at the school. And there's a few people who've gone on and they've jumped right into Sony, Blizzard. They're doing great for themselves. More power to them. But I while I didn't have the exact same things available at the time, I thought it was really cool that it's offered. It's really cool you can catch this. So good on you, Kara. Hope many more people can get same story.
Yay for new guy.
New guy. Right. New guy, new gal.
Whatever. You can call girls guys in that thing. You know what I meant.
No, I didn't.
Right, whatever.
I'll fake it.
Okay. What's next here? What do you got here?
Overwatch. There's
Overwatch. Have you played Overwatch?
I have Overwatch. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You do play that. I have played Overwatch a little. That's fun. I actually decided to stay away from it because the new first-person shooter for me is like crack. So.
Yeah. Hey, this is one you can easily get hooked on. The team play is really fun. I mean, obviously, I know you know a bit about the flow already. You pick a role. / class and kind of go with that, timing your ultimates and everything. Super fun game with the kind of limited selection. It's funny, I don't think Blizzard initially intended this to hit the kind of scope that it did. But now, they're dedicated to expanding it as Blizzard does and supports their games. But the cool part about this is, this stuff I love watching from Blizzard. They've always done a super masterful job with their animated shorts, with their CGs, times that they get to go outside of gameplay and just tell a story. I think that's super fun. And now you have another case of that for Overwatch for the next season, where they'll be going with that, where you won't be constrained just to gameplay and everything. So I know, all my friends who play Overwatch won't stop talking about this. They're all excited about it, and I think it's kind of cool to have such a close link to story and game.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, are they going to be actually using like the in-game graphics and such to do these animated shorts?
To my knowledge, no. Like they always they veer a bit away from that. I mean, they don't change the style. There is no break with the style at all. I mean that stays in place. So,
Okay.
at least if I'm basing things off the original shorts they had, I think one was called like Infiltration. Another with what was it? I'm so bad with names. Something with Bastion. Some of the ones that they had before, but no, they're fun. You're going to see that same kind of like cell shaded, 3D look. They keep that, but expect it to break bounds of gameplay.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, there it is.
Sweet.
Yay.
And the last portion of the gaming stuff that I had was Ace Combat 7 got pushed back to 2018.
I think the biggest news part of this is that they're still making Ace Combat games. I did not know.
Right. Yeah.
But apparently they're not.
This was always the one back in Armored Core days, and someone would say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna pick up AC6," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, no, Ace Combat. I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, this was always the game that got confused with Armored Core when trying to reference it right, but these are still getting cranked out. It's kind of
this is flight simulation, right?
It is flight simulators. Yeah. It's kind of like, I call it at least like the Madden of flight simulators.
Right. Yeah, it's extremely popular. I know what it is, and I haven't played a flight simulator in 20-some years.
Right. We don't have a date announced yet for 2018, but the staff has noted that this will be making an appearance at E3 for 2017. We'll probably know more about it then. Fun fact, Ace Combat has been going on for 20 plus years.
Right.
So the fact that we still have it on current gen stuff is, hey, so you're an Ace Combat fan, keep at it.
Hey, there you go.
Keep at it.
All right. Hey, so you know what time it is now?
It's got to be that info minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Ian's information minute.
Without a jingle. Still coming, but
that's why I'm saying it so friggin' bland.
To be fair, there is a reason for that. I will completely place, at least for this week, my lack of jingle, and not only not having the design stuff I want for it, but Rogue One. I did watch Rogue One. So. Well,
but we can't play Rogue One for your intro.
You see, Chris here is like the hardest guy to please. It's impossible. The standard is too high. It just is. It just is.
Nope, just want a 5-second jingle.
It's too much. I'm telling you.
Hell, I was singing it myself for a month. So. Okay. All right. No, but it's yeah. So all right. We'll talk about that after the info minute. But Ian, what's your information minute?
This info is actually technically it's about a month or so old, but I think it's still pretty relevant. It's something that I overlooked when it was announced. Scientific community. There's been a name placed on the current era that we're living now in time as the Anthropence era, and that is part of that reasoning is because humans and our effect on our planet, just through our activities, through everything from fracking to the way we work with our mineral deposits to the way we pull oil, all of it has contributed to actually a way that our minerals are broken down. According to a number of reports, all kinds of sources, I don't know where to stop citing these. We are responsible for 208 minerals that are now part of Earth, part of the 500 that are naturally recorded. And again, all this as a result is what we've caused. And I found this interesting because this is like a geological footprint. If you were to look at specifically, take a snapshot of just some of the things we're doing now in our activities, if you look back years and years and years and years from now, you'd be able to look back and see this type of footprint. I'm correcting myself. It was the International Mineralogical Association recognizes about 5,000 different mineral species individually and specific, and out of that, these 208 we're responsible for. Another neat thing that you're probably going to find as a result of this is because of all the trading and the way we, including synthetic minerals or those that aren't as granulated, there's been so much trade throughout the world and different gems brought to different portions that you would also likely years from now find rubies, sapphires, and who knows what else in places that they normally would not manifest or that you wouldn't expect them to be. So,
like what?
What, like, not more? I think the question is less like what, more like where. And
like where?
Globally. I mean, that's hard for me to exactly pin and tell you, like, you're going to see this appear here because it's global. We've implemented a global trade,
right?
Absolutely not. I'll leave that to those more qualified than I am.
Well, that's just interesting. Your statement begs the question: where the hell are they going to find rubies and diamonds where they shouldn't have been? I mean,
everywhere.
Everywhere, apparently. That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So it's good to know that humans making their lasting impression by minerals. All right. Are any of these minerals like super good?
There wasn't any effect stated that there's minerals being produced that are just damaging, that are causing a negative effect per se.
No, yeah, you were unbiased on it. I'm the one asking.
No, I know you're asking. It has nothing about being biased. I'm saying it's the info is presented from a neutral standpoint too. There isn't anything to state that either way.
Well, okay, so when I'm using the bathroom next week and I get a ruby coming out,
well, there's one of them. There's one of them.
I know what to blame it on.
And you didn't have to wait 3, 4, 5,000 years for it.
I'm blaming you. I'm giving you a call.
It's if you'd stop all this trade traffic, maybe you wouldn't have sapphires or rubies popping up in weird places.
Oh, hey, you got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills.
Man, keep that stuff to yourself. No, I don't want your rubies or your sapphires. I don't want any of that.
You never complained before.
This guy. This guy.
Ian's Info Minute.
But
That's all you get.
I was wondering if you were breaking up again. That's all I'll take.
Nope.
I think that was within a minute. I seriously try to cram
It's
that.
Never, but it's never.
That's a lie. Listen to last week's. That was like 58 seconds before you added on to it.
Oh, that's right. You almost forgot. You almost forgot your own segment.
Exactly.
Your special segment. I don't have a special segment. But if I did, I wouldn't forget it.
You wanted me to have this special segment.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying someone gave me a special segment, I wouldn't forget it.
Some people are more liberal with their gifts. If I want to forget my segment, you should let me make my own choices. I mean, you're not my real dad.
Hey, I am not saying if we're going to get into this, and apparently we already have. I have given you no input on that jingle other than I need it. You can make it whatever you want. So
fair enough.
Being pretty liberal about it.
All right.
It could end up being a 30-second fart song, and it's going in.
No, see, I would expect that. I would expect that if you made it, but
yeah, that's right. Well, no, I'm not gonna make it. You're the one giving me farty jingles. I don't.
Man, after all that work in that theme, I see how it is.
Right. Should we just move on?
Yeah, because then we're gonna have that weird discussion about you know, jingle rights and, themes, SFX. Yeah.
Alien Covenant last night premiered the sixth movie of the franchise now.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Okay, straight up. And I will get into talking about the whole, compared to the whole series later. I'm looking at these recent ones though. I actually enjoyed Prometheus a little more than I did this one.
I agree.
And the reasons are numerous. I mean, we I know we're going to talk about, what we like, what we didn't like, where it hit the mark and where it didn't, all that kind of good stuff, but we're in the woods here as far as with mythology. I will admit this really, really grew my curiosity for the third one. What Ridley Scott wants to do is to wrap up this, this current block.
Okay, so we should say though, before we go any further,
yeah.
Doing spoiler and then spoiler, or are we just talking about this?
I mean, we may as well spoiler.
Okay, we're just talking.
Yeah.
All right, so spoilers.
Warning: put your headphones down. I don't know, like mute them. Whatever you need to do. You don't want to hear spoilers.
Yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, that's I think that's the end of the show for you. We'll end it with Ian's info in a minute. And all right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hey, it's spoiler time.
On the spoiler section. Really, really curious where we're going with all of this. And I think to tell that we have to jump back a little bit. Now, before this came out, we were talking about a small preview cut that had been done, picking back up the story of Dr. Elizabeth Shaw and her journey with David after escaping the original planet in Prometheus 1.
Which, by the way, I called it. She was dead.
You did call it. You called it. Fair enough. So, she gets her wish in a twisted way.
Spoiler.
They show how all that turns out. If you checked out the preview that came out, you recognize that they had made it to the engineered planet they were attempting to make it to. Of course, minus Elizabeth. She wasn't in that scene. David was. We get the full pretext to that in the form of a flashback during the film. And essentially, we have the pathogen being unleashed on the engineers. So Elizabeth, she gets her wish, technically. She manages through a completely different conduit to strike back, to take down the engineers. Of course, all of this is really part of David's twisted experiments.
Right, spoiling a lot.
Yeah, which we'll jump into from here. But
let's talk about what you like. What did you like about the movie?
Yeah. I know. I'm being we're at the kind of granular point, but let's pull out a little bit.
You're laying too much groundwork.
A little bit of likes. It needs that. This is a prequel, though. I won't back off that one.
It is a prequel.
I mean, I'm stating the obvious, but as far as what I really enjoyed, I'd have to say, believe it or not, like starting off early on, the mood. Right off the bat, you have that real unease from the stammering acting captain to just a real sense of dread. Ridley Scott does an awesome job with this, and it really places you right there. Not just in with the crew per se, but it's that same feeling I have in watching the original Alien. That's one reason I was so excited about it, because there's zero sign where anything will go. He just does a really, really good job, I think, just depicting like impending dread. He's just awesome with that. It's just something's amiss and something's off. So that part was cool. However,
yeah, I agree. There was definitely a feeling of, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah. But with that, I had practically zero connection to this crew. And I know that kind of goes off in a more of a negative direction, but I'll parlay that back into the other thing I'm looking at. The type of intensity that I think you expect with some of the action scenes in Alien movies, just how hard these things are to take out, that's there. There is always I think a cool creative outlet to how they make a desperate last-ditch attempt to try to take out the infestation or take it's always at a high price. So of course those moments were well done. I think that's kind of par for the course in Alien movies. We've kind of grown to expect that. Along with just the directing style, I thought worked really well. I have to say it was one of my favorite parts.
No, I agree. I think as far as what I liked about it, the tone, the mood was there. Not that I think that was particularly missing in the previous one either, because when you look at these two, well, actually, when you look at this one, you have to compare it to the other five.
Oh yeah,
You have no choice, especially the last one, because this was supposed to be a writing of the ship.
right.
And I don't think that happened. Of course, we'll never know what the other two were going to be after Prometheus. The original idea, we'll never know now,
Right.
which is okay. But yeah, the tone. This is kind of Ridley Scott's baby, and he treated it as such.
Yeah.
No, but I think I'd say about the first 30 minutes or so were great.
Yeah.
Dealing with what was left from Prometheus as far as David and it was Elizabeth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was dealt well. Very, very obvious, but that was dealt with as well as it could be. Yeah, the Covenant tells the story in large part on how you think it's going to tell it, and that's not bad.
Yeah.
There's another side to that coin though. I really liked Walter and the interactions between Walter and David.
Same.
The fight between the two of them. Again, there's a flip side to that coin, which we'll get to with the things that we didn't like. But yeah, the initial interaction with I don't think are they actually xenomorphs initially. I don't think they are actually xenomorphs, but the initial interaction with the alien and the crew was really good. I thought they laid down some really good groundwork there. It felt very alien-like.
Yep.
As in, part of the franchise. So I guess maybe I'll segue. Did you have any more likes that you wanted to talk about?
Part of this trails into the whole question that I think Ridley Scott's trying to frame with mixed results. The one part I think I did enjoy earlier is we get a real centerpiece to David's descent, and that is we have this whole dialogue at the opening when he first awakens from his programming of really, it's simple, it's just a philosophical question, just questioning his creation. If you're stating you created me, well then who created you, and it just kind of launches into this whole idea of a space odyssey. So their interaction it's something I think that tried to begin like warm, but that ended really cold, and I thought that's something that added to that mood. I think that comes in with again what we're talking about, Ridley Scott's style and what he shoots for. So that first interaction, I like that, even though it was like a short snapshot, and I thought it gave us a good look into David's mind.
Mm-hmm. All right, so like I was saying, things. Are we going to things that we didn't like? Which, by the way, beautiful movie.
Right.
Absolutely beautiful movie. Had the right feel, had the right vision.
Mm-hmm.
The audio, sound effects, all of it very good in that respect.
Oh yeah.
You touched on it already a little bit. I think one of my biggest complaints about this movie is that I have never seen such garbage cannon fodder in my life.
Yes.
I mean, I get that for the first interaction with the aliens and how they played that out. You just have not had much of a chance to get to know these people yet.
Right.
But then you've got another hour and a half. And I think we get to know 2 androids and 3 characters.
Pretty much.
You've got the captain, you've got Tennessee, and you've got Danny. And if you can remember any of their other names, I dare you to tell them.
Man.
You got blonde chick number 1. You got blonde chick number 2. And then you've got you've got the couple that do it in the shower.
Yep.
I don't remember any of the rest. Oh, the bearded guy who gets the back burster.
Right. There's the bearded fella, and then the I'm just gonna call him the whiz fella, the guy who decided to go take a whiz.
That whiz guy.
Yep.
There's 15 crew member here. We've maybe hit half.
Yeah. and that that in of itself is pretty wild. Just how, like you said, how much fodder, how unforgettable. You know, the strange thing about that though is, especially comparing this crew, even let's say completely take the alien background out of it, how unprepared I felt they were for what they're doing in terms of their mission or what they're getting into. The previous crew in Prometheus, you can make some arguments there because they were specifically, searching for the engineers and things like that. But even still, down to their decisions. If you go into that far, just granulating like that, like even their suits were different. They land on a foreign planet. They don't have the same type of.
Can I just say real quick?
Yeah, hit it.
Can I just say that I was not aware that this whole time I've been wearing hoodies. I've been ready for space travel. I just want to throw that out. I was not aware that was your standard issue space travel gear.
Yeah,
it was a hoodie.
Totally, man. You're good.
I mean, I get it. They're only going on planets that are capable for sustaining human life. I get that, but of course you're gonna get weird alien bug things flying in your ears and in your nose because you're wearing a fucking hoodie.
That was pretty staggering for me at the start. I'm just people, everything from the besides choice of protective gear, choice of attire, choice of groups. For how many of them go out to explore. We have the Scooby-Doo style let's split up gang. We've got that happening all over the place. We've got a lone maintenance person back at the ship who doesn't lock the ship, mind you, who's just conducting maintenance on her own, right. Not knowing. And it's this cascade of just little minor failures that just sets itself up for the moment they step off. You just know they're boned.
None of these things should be happening.
No.
That's the thing that bothers me. Like, the whole thing is like, look, dumbass, you just locked somebody in the med room with somebody who's got something bursting out of its back. What, you didn't realize you did that? No, I'm sorry. That is not your standard, 2.0 GPA doctor who's going on a space trip. Right? Someone who hasn't been trained and tempered to deal with scenarios like this. You're not going to forget somebody in there. And you're not going to lose your shit.
No, it's one thing reacting poorly under fire and panic. I get it. In a completely foreign situation, dealing with a foreign entity, it's stuff like that. But this
that should not be happening with that doctor, the one who specifically is going out on field missions like this.
Right.
There's things like this that in their hoodie spacesuits. I mean, that's so bad. I mean, it is such a leap. It's too much of both of those situations are too much of a leap.
Yeah.
You kind of lose it right there. Now that being said, when those backbursters come out, they are cool.
Very, very. I like to nickname them the albino crew.
Right. Oh, that works.
Yeah. But no, really, really well done. They've got a very freaky quadrupedal walk with the insanely fast growth style that we're used to. Vicious right off the bat. I think what made these have so much impact is, the early, especially in the first Alien film. I remember the original Chestburster. They tend to scurry off to go have an opportunity to gain strength. You give them a certain amount of hours, or even they'll fully mature. And once they've done, then they come back and kill everybody. But these just out the box.
Right, and they're like sizing them up too. They're like, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I can.
I can kill him.
Not really.
They grew really fast too.
They did.
So, the aliens are really cool.
They are.
Aliens are really cool, but I mean, I think what bothered. Now, when I left the theater last night, I was more upset about this than I am now. I left it leaving. I really didn't like what I saw. I think what bothers me the most about this movie is because you can tell a lot of time and care and attention was put in some areas.
Oh yeah.
And then things like hoodie spacesuit were areas where they gave nothing. It's like, what? You just did awesome spacesuits in your last movie.
What? Why not be consistent? Especially when we're not talking about a massive leap in terms of tech providers, or it's not like Wayland Industries disappeared.
Right, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, if anything, you'd expect more of a development by that point.
We don't need space.
So I don't get that. There's already such a strong, not just mechanical presence, but functioning wear, suits, items, all that stuff exists very, very well in the Alien universe already. It seems so easy to leverage that again.
Well, especially considering they're on an exploration mission. I mean, their job is to be poking and prodding things that could potentially have hazardous reactions to them.
Right. So...
yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
And I feel like this whole movie is like that.
Yeah.
There's like, oh, this is awesome, but then it's like,
part of... And I'll say this too, and I think this is what reduces the experience some. Part of what made the original Alien movies just so freaky and scary is that this idea that you take some of the best in their fields, some of the best geologists, some of the best scientists, interplanetary explorers, and you put them in these situations, even with their best judgment, with their best gear, they are still no match for the situations that they're put in. And out of that, there's always this sense of desperation, like, oh my god, like this was like our best shot and this is what happened. Not with this, though. It's just... You can't help but wonder, if this were in the hands of a more capable crew, or I'm not even going to say capable, prepared, even, what difference would that make in the whole experience? So.
Well, and then, yeah, and we're going to kind of, as you can tell, people, if you haven't caught on yet, we're going to go off on this a little bit, and then at the end, when they're in the cargo ship,
yeah,
and they first get in there, and she's like, open the door. I'll go get it. I'm like, what in the hell through this whole movie has told me that, one, you're qualified to do that, and secondly, that you have the balls to do it after everything that's just happened. You're just like, I got this.
Yeah, I got it. Get back off.
I'm gonna hitch myself onto this flying spaceship and go kill the alien. What?
I got this is the right term. Oh.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know the actress, but the character Danny, she was great.
Yeah.
But there's no context to this.
No.
There's none.
Even I look back at this too. The hardening of Lieutenant Ripley. Even with some of her, experience with security and everything else, she wasn't prepared for anything like this, but there was enough of a build to make that into a believable circumstance, or that she is hardened enough not just to survive, but okay, she can do this, she can execute. Not here. It's
even alien hybrid clone Ripley from Aliens 4 would have been like, whatever.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
So that's
great. Now the fight itself is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But again, here you have something really cool, and the build-up was just go do it.
Yep. It just doesn't mix, which it was just the oddest clash that I think I've seen to date with an Alien movie. Even Elizabeth Shaw, even her build. Look. I want to look at that just a minute. We didn't have one of those I like to call cannot unsee moments here too. The one I look back to, Prometheus. That forced surgery / abort scene when she pulled. I cannot unsee that. That was such just a jarring moment. I mean, it was so well done, so well executed too. But yeah, stuff like that, that's freaking unforgettable. And that seals a character like Shaw. You don't care what comes after, she is hardcore.
Yeah.
So she has place to take actions like that. You understand that there's a base. But I agree, not here. If anything, David really struck me as one that just sort of, grits her teeth. Just tries to live, not as much of a.
Danny, you said David.
I'm sorry, yeah,
Danny.
Danny, yeah.
I would be fine with her doing that if they would have had a little bit build up that they've got frickin' Superwoman on their spaceship.
Right. What?
Because someone's, and she is the hero of the story, and that's obvious.
She is.
But that doesn't tell me that she's going to go out on a spaceship that's in mid-flight trying to get up into space, and I can do without a spacesuit. I'm sure that air was pretty thin, but whatever.
Even her beginnings, in her, or if anything, she comes off as one of the, more, I don't think malleable is the right word, but one of the more easily jarred members. I mean, okay, yeah, she goes through a big loss early on, like I get that, but that sticks with her right. Throughout all of it. I think even establishing her as sort of more of a neutral personality up front, I think would lend more to what she did at the end than what we had to work with.
So continue on things that I don't like. The fight between Walter and David was good.
Yes,
I thought that was very interesting. You're seeing they're obviously trying to show off some special effects chops. It's like, okay, well, there's really nothing special about what you're doing. Yes, it's David Fassbender and playing both roles, but you're really not showing anything new. But it was very well done. What was not well done was the context behind that. It's
right.
Like, what's Ridley Scott trying to tell us here? Some weird conflict between duty and love that is really just not coming off right.
Right.
And I'm trying, like, I'm watching this and I'm like, what are you saying here? That not that I would ever. Well, there is some context to some of the stories, or some of the things that the Alien movies are trying to tell you. There's not a lot, though. These are action movies at their heart. They're not trying to tell you something deep.
Right.
But it seemed like he was trying to get a message across, right or wrong,
right,
agree or not, and it just came out like, bleh.
Yeah, it's forced. And you could argue that kind of narrative, you don't have to have that to support these. It's weird. This is why I kind of point out we're in this weird woods situation with this. It's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think Ridley Scott reacted so much to the initial some of the blowback from Prometheus that not enough focus on xenomorphs. Not enough this. Why do we have to tell as much prequel? Why can't we focus more on aliens? It's like, oh, okay, we'll bring something that will focus more on the xenomorphs, on aliens, but we'll bring these questions in too, and we'll bring this. This is why I'm really wondering, as you said, what's he trying to get at? Is this something we're not going to see that's actually fully explored until movie 3? This or not? But it creates an awkward atmosphere.
Yeah. I have to say one of the coolest things about the xenomorphs, about the aliens, is the evolution and how they build up the way that they do. How they start from from queen to face hugger to chest burster to fully grown xenomorph.
Yeah,
it's very interesting. It's very intriguing. They own this space when it comes to sci-fi movies and stuff. They own it. They dominate it. They've had it for nearly 40 years.
Yep.
But now to find out that all of that evolution and supremacy of evolution was done by an abandoned robot.
Yeah.
What?
It's just... yeah.
At what point, from even Prometheus, I guess I don't understand. I don't remember any point where David saw the initial egg that infected people in Prometheus. I don't remember him actually seeing that happening. I guess, and he's just like, well, yeah, so I've had 10 years, so I was just kind of tinkering around with DNA, and boom, eggs. What?
Well, he messed, if I recall, he was messing with the pathogen for the Prometheus crew, because he...
Yeah, it was brought back to him.
Right, it was brought back. There was that, I forget which soldier, it was the captain or whoever, that he didn't like. And he spiked his drink with... it was just like the size, maybe like a small drop, and I think that was like the start of his experiment, his idea, because, he gets this thing in his head about, about how mankind shouldn't spread. I should, there's clearly a biologically superior weapon here let me see what I can do with it by using them toes.
Here's the thing about this, though. He's living in rock. He's living in stone. He's not on the spaceship.
Right.
What is he doing? What kind of chemistry set does he have?
Yeah.
He's tinkering around with DNA. How is he controlling these things? That's the other thing. Is like, so he lifts up his arms, and then the chestburster lifts up its arms.
Yeah, I'm glad you highlighted that. It's strange because we don't have as much of a base for where does an alien's inherent intelligence come from, and for everything we've been told up to this point, they will ignore plant life.
They follow the queen.
Right, they follow the queen, or they'll ignore inorganic materials like that. But it seems like something so counterintuitive to everything that we know about their mythology, which places us in another really weird place. It's like, oh, okay, how is, as you said, how is he exhibiting that kind of control over them?
It's a freaking chestburster. It's been alive for seconds. If you suggest that the chest bursting is its birth, or maybe hours as it's developed in the person's body. It has no experience with anything, and there's been nothing in the past that has shown that the aliens, when they're coming out of the chest, know shit about shit.
No,
but apparently they can start jazzercising right away.
They're part of the terror is they are billed as pure creatures of instinct.
Right.
To kill, simply, or to, preserve themselves and just to get to their ideal adult strength.
Right, there's that whole thing in the fourth one about the doctor teaching the xenomorph not to mess with the glass, otherwise he's going to hit him with the, I'm assuming that's some kind of, do you know what I'm talking about? When it's caged, and he hits him with that burst of air, which certainly seems like it hurts him.
Right.
So there's already this whole thing of, there's a learn and what am I thinking here? Action and reaction,
right?
And cause and reaction and all that. Hey, all right, I'm gonna get my jumping jacks in right now.
But that's right. That's simply a sense. That's just animal cunning, or just from a learned experience. Okay, if I put my paw in the fire, I'm gonna get toasted. Let me not do that. Of course. I mean, they've always exhibited an area, at least of intelligence, or able to adapt. It's part of what makes them such amazing hunters.
Right. Not baby lift your arms.
No. Yeah, that weirded me out.
Do as I'm coming, there you go.
Yeah, that.
You know what? I take it back. I was feeling better about this movie now. I feel worse. I feel worse. Okay, so I'm gonna say, all right, I'm talking too negative. You want to say? I'm gonna say something that's cool. It was cool to see the facehugger again. Wasn't it? That was cool.
And just so this is one of the absolute icons of the Alien series, and again showing the acidic blood properties and whatnot, but just how resilient these things are, and if they get you, they deliver. It doesn't matter if you try to.
Gonna get you.
Yeah, if you can't saw those things apart, you're not going to pull them. Well, you'll probably pull the head of whatever they've latched onto with them.
Oh, it'll kill you.
Yeah, you're dead. I mean, when they get you, that's it. You are done. Delivery over. And I did like how they drove that home. I mean, you kind of saw that coming. That the one guy that escaped.
At the same time, that was so stupid of that guy to walk in there. He's already questioning what David's up to, and he's like, "See my great room of experimental alien eggs. Come on in." He's even skeptical, and Dave's just like, "Take a look.
Yep.
Nothing bad will happen." Well, why don't I just stick my face out? What?
I literally had my arms up, just hand in my head, like, this is unbelievable.
He was about to kill him. He had just threatened he was going to shoot him full of holes.
Yep.
Like, whoa, this has got to be on the up and up. All right.
Yeah, all right, cool. So I'm in this really weird shady cavern, and there's weird egg. Yeah, man, I'm down with that. Sure. Yeah.
After he just got done telling him about how he had evolved the alien species, how he basically didn't he also just admit that he had killed the aliens, I'm sorry, not the aliens, but the inhabitants of that planet.
Yeah. he just, and that takes me back to another really strange area here about how he exterminated the engineers. Okay, we do have that whole story about quote unquote Shaw's revenge and everything
By the
like
way,
that.
my rating on this movie, which I decided on before we started, is going down as we talk.
Yeah, as we talk about it. Well, I want to ask you and your take on this too. The pathogen, when it got released onto the engineer population, it seemed to emblazon them like in stone, like it marbleized them. It didn't. There wasn't a gestation period, and they all just didn't erupt into mutations and aliens everywhere. What do you think was up with that?
I don't know what was up with that because we had actually seen an engineer at the end of Prometheus,
Right.
get infected and give birth to I would say a de-evolved alien or maybe a queen.
Yeah,
So we know what happens with that.
We know what should happen, and it's established early on the potency of those spores that contain that organism, what they can do to another living organism. So okay, that's established. What I kept expecting was, especially that run when they were trying to depart in the ship, was that there was just going to be a flood of these things at some point. Like it was just infested. They were everywhere. The reason why there's silence is because they're inhabiting every corner nearby. But that never was.
And they hadn't attacked because David was watching. Oh, I'm serious because apparently he controls them.
No, I know. Well, that's what we're given. So, just odd, really odd set of circumstances to work with here, and it's strange when you've already got all the food served, ready to go on the platter, and we go in this really odd direction. So, I think there's only so much the questioning that you need. I get it. David's got his own twisted sense of science and stuff like that, but it's his theme and overarching themes are really, really starting to affect the series in a weird way.
Yeah, this I don't know about this whole thing. I mean, I knew we were going to see David.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew he was going to play a role. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this to begin with. So I'm not opposed to. I'm opposed to an android being the reason that the xenomorphs are. I think when you're playing in the mass that is space, your endless space possibilities, there could have been a better way than him tinkering around with it with his little 5-year-old chemistry set. Which, by the way, what was he using? What was he using to test these things? I mean, obviously animals and life on the planet. But I mean, seriously, how was he tinkering with DNA? What was he using?
The thing we're given to assume, and I'm basing this off that small prologue trailer that we saw too. The thing we're given to assume is that during their travel to the engineered planet, while Shaw was put in sleep, David had enough time to study, really analyze, really learn the engineer tech. And not just learn how to pilot the ship, but to use it. Now, obviously, he had some proficiency because he managed to unleash the pathogen in the first place. I
don't know.
Hey, look, with that, I'm logically following the cookie crumbs we're given. With what I'm saying, that's a stretch in and of itself. I will gladly admit that. I don't even think that's a good explanation
for stale cookie crumbs.
It is, but that's all we got. And that's the best thing I can assume. So
see, that's horrible. That's canon now.
It is.
That's canon.
I think overall a lot of I'm really waiting on that third movie. There's some judgment for this.
I'm not waiting on that third movie anymore.
I'll give him the chance. I will give him the chance based off how prolific this has been. Look, like I said, I enjoyed Prometheus. I've liked the rest of the Alien movies. A bit of somewhat of you got a slip that's happening here. Hey, if this is something that you're going to delve into more or somehow, I think it's going to be a trip to do it at this point. But rectify a bit, explain a bit more. I'll wait. I'm willing to give that next movie a shot. See what happens.
Well, and we will get it. We will get the next one unless this one bombs. I mean, how was the theater for you?
As far as how full it was, it wasn't exactly stacked like cordwood or anything. It was ish.
Not like Guardians.
No, definitely not like Guardians.
I would say maybe a tenth of the theater had people in it. I was surprised by that. I was really surprised about that.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be the return to the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
This was, hey, look, Ridley Scott's back. We're going to write this ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
So.
No, you didn't. It's a shame. Again, the pacing I thought was fine. The directing itself was okay. As far as the visuals. Sound effects were great. Special effects were great. Score was great. I think he even had a good set of actors. It would have been nice to hear some of them say something.
I agree.
I mean, that was the whole thing. Was that trailer that came out was setting up the whole thing. It's a team of couples,
right?
And where the hell was Franco? James Franco was supposed to be in this movie.
He died right at the start.
Was that him? Was that supposed to be him?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Is that him in the picture on the mountain? And I just couldn't tell that.
No, wait. I have that wrong because if you remember right, wasn't James Franco in Prometheus?
No, he was supposed to be in this. He was supposed to be the captain.
Okay, so that was him being immolated.
Yes, that was him, but it certainly didn't look like him.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, I'm not a huge Franco fan. I like him. He's good. I was kind of expecting to see him.
Yeah.
But as I was expecting to at least get to know these couples a little bit. Where there was a little bit of caring, especially when it came to Tennessee and his wife. That like we talked about last week with they've left their friends and family behind, but they have this one significant other. And how horrible would that be in deep space to lose them? They played on it a bit. I would say they played on it enough. But they could have done a lot more with that. Yeah,
definitely. And that's something I was expecting coming into that. I think having the usual sense of dread, tension, on top of seeing some of the interpersonal motivations between the couples, I think would give it some grounds. I'm thinking back to, Prometheus, even, Wayland's daughter. We did. It's not like we had all the backstory in the world, but we had enough to build a case for her. We had an idea of her motivations and everything. When that fell apart, there was a strong enough base about her character, I think, to make a good summary or good judgment. So
this was weak. This was sad.
Yeah,
it had some good action, but the context to it was horrible.
Yeah. A lot of the basing was off. The staple things that we expect action-wise to be delivered for an Alien series that entry, all there. Rest of the build, can't say it was.
What did you think of the ending? Besides its absolute predictability.
Yeah. Besides that.
Oh my God, is that David? It's like, oh, bitch, we all do.
This is what opens the question for me. Okay, so now I'm starting to think, how does all this connect directly into Alien 1? The way,
and they're really close, by the way.
Oh yeah.
They're only several years off.
Oh yeah. It left me with a big question mark in that regard. Which is actually why I'm curious. This reminds me of the case of one of my favorites, Evangelion, the Evangelion movies. I am really disappointed with the state they're in right now. I did not like movie 3 at all, but I'm waiting for movie 4 to reserve all my judgment just in case there's something else that happens that I'm just not foreseeing. So I'm gonna give this one the same chance, man. I can't I can't fully say it till we've seen the whole picture.
Maybe I will go into the theater and see it to review it.
Right.
Otherwise, this is a rental for me at this point.
Yeah. Fair enough. So
when you see this, this is a lot about what I complain about with the X-Men movies too, and I don't mean to harp on that again, but I'm going there only because when you take the backstory, when you take the context of all these things that we're supposed to care about, and you flush it down the toilet, why should I care?
Right.
Why should I care?
Yeah.
Hoodies, Ian. Like from Gander Mountain.
I thought I was thinking North Face. I don't know.
She's taking samples with a syringe. They're in space. I I've seen little kids take samples like that out of ponds with syringes like that. Not fully grown, trained space women. Which, again, I've never actually seen. But I would suspect that they would use a different method than what the 9-year-old did.
Beyond me, man. Beyond me.
And the guy just licks a cigarette. I'm a smoker, by the way. So, but if I'm out in space, first of all, I'm probably not smoking off the spaceship. If I'm even smoking at all. But let's say I'm still smoking. I'm not smoking off of that spaceship.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Go off.
Because we're on a planet that, again, and Danny says it being, they haven't studied it. Now, granted, this, mother's doing certain tests, and I'm sure that it's not too horrible to have chemicals like all the hundreds of different chemicals that cigarettes have in them. It's probably okay. I don't know. Actually, I think I just talked myself out of that. Why the hell are they even letting them leave that spaceship with a cigarette?
Yeah, careful. You keep following this too much, man. Your head's going to hurt even more.
But he just, it's... Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
And they already said, hey, where are all the birds? Where's all the life? What's wheat doing here? Something's up. What's wrong here, people? Don't go just take a whiz around the corner.
Before that, I wanted to ask. I was thinking, I'm like, wait, what are their roles? What are their specializations? I want to get an idea of exactly where everyone's doing. Then after I saw that scene, I said, you know what? Never mind. It's cool. In the next 5 minutes or so, it's all good. It'll be wrapped up.
You had nurse, you had captain,
yeah.
you had engineer, you had pilot, and then you had cannon fodder 1 through 10.
Gotcha.
I have more respect, now I'm talking a completely different genre, but I have more respect for stormtroopers than I do the people in this film.
I agree.
I expect more from a movie franchise, at least the first 3, that has a lot more integrity and dignity to it.
Yeah.
I expected a lot more.
Well,
I think they should take... They're going to do one more. I think they were talking maybe 2.
Yeah, right.
Doing at least one more. I think they should go for broke, get rid of Ridley Scott, put Michael Bay in there. Just do it.
Because we need more explosions.
He'll blow it all up. At least then there's a reason.
Oh.
At least then I can accept it all blew up.
All right.
And it looked beautiful doing it.
How many face huggers out of 10?
I started this, I was going to say 6. I'm now saying I'm between 3 and 4. I think I'm going to go 4 because it does have until they completely crap on themselves. It does have a great Alien franchise feel to it.
It does.
There is some great action to it. It's not a worthless turd.
Right.
It's not nearly as far from that as it should be, though. No, there's some good things here.
There are.
So I'll give it a 4.
Fair enough. For me, at first, when I first saw it, I said, I may have to fully reserve my judgment for the last movie and what else, and thinking about it. But, the more I look at it, for the reasons we discussed here, this is going to get dead down the middle for me. 5 out of 10.
Well, and you like the Alien franchise a bit more.
And I do. I really do. This goes back. Alien 2 came out on my birthday, the year I was born. And Alien itself always intrigued me because this was something around before I was even born and was genuinely terrifying. And I think really set the pace for so much to follow after it, and just in the space horror genre. And I've loved them. Like I said, the first Alien movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love the directions they went. Well, I didn't get an Alien versus Predator and all the spinoffs. I'm not that diehard about it, but the canon base that we've had for Alien, they've been pretty solid, pretty dependable entries. So
this was not good. This is definitely contender for worst movie of the year.
I think so. Out of out of what we've seen, we'll see what else comes out. I know we're probably going to get a bounce soon in coming months from Spidey, Wonder Woman, and all that. But this one's, it's unfortunate. I did not think I'd be saying this about Alien.
Yeah, well, that's because we were told for the last 2 years, hey, praise Ridley Scott, he's coming back, he's going to make it right.
Yep. And
no, he didn't.
And this is one of those cases, too, it's rough. With creative vision, some just go for it all out regardless and just ignore fan sentiment. Others take fan sentiment too seriously. I feel this was a case of taking that sentiment too seriously. I feel Prometheus was panned harder than it should have been. I don't think it deserved all the harshness that it got, and I really wish they stuck on their original path with that instead of trying.
I would have liked to have seen where they were going to go with that.
Same here.
That was
Same
weird
here.
and off enough to where it's like, what are you doing here?
But yeah, that's fine. I'd argue in such a prequel story like that, you need those kind of old bridges, to kind of bring us into what we already know is current. We know what's going to happen. That's fine.
Right.
Take us back a few pages.
Yeah,
so.
no, okay, so you're showing me the first step. I already know the last step. So now you're showing me everything in between. And in this one, everything in between was a wizard did it.
I don't even.
Wrong?
No.
David did it. Wizard, same thing. Wizard did it. All right. I don't even have to watch the next one. Okay.
Which really robs from the whole space jockey thing. I know part of the whole mysticism about it for me. I remember watching, in Alien 1 and then looking at this massive being. I'm like, what the heck was that? It's like humanoid, but it's not. What was this about? We're engineers and all this other stuff. I didn't even know to call him that then, but now I'm just going to think of this little booger of an android. So
did you hear about what they were going to, what's the director, the creator of District 9 and Elysium, and did you hear what he wanted to do with the Alien franchise?
No.
He wanted to make a new sequel to Aliens and kind of like retcon and go off in a different path. So you'd still have Hicks and you'd have Newt and you'd have Ripley, and instead of two of them just dying, they were going to tell that story. And Sigourney Weaver was on board, and I think the actor who played Hicks was on board too. And he wanted to do this, and he had actually gotten the green light to do it. And they were in pre-production.
Holy crap!
Ridley Scott was like, "Hey, no, you're gonna do a sequel to this. Let's do this instead." And now we're not, and at first he was like, "Okay, so right." Hey, you're the guy. You're Ridley Scott. This is your baby. Maybe I can do that after you guys are all done telling that story. So they're talking like 7-8 years down the line. But now it's not going to happen at all.
Oh my gosh.
That's a shame. Because that would have been neat. Because I know I'm okay with where Aliens 3 and 4 went. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like where Aliens 3 went with the franchise.
Right.
So, yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right, that would have been cool to see. That would have been a neat alternative ending to the Alien franchise, because a lot of people don't like where it went.
No, I understand why.
And a lot of people don't like where this one went either. You just can't get it right.
Like I was saying, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
They're just damned if they don't do it right. This sucks.
Well, that's a rough one. But hey, what do you people think?
This makes me want to go watch X-Men 3.
Oh no, please. Oh man, hey, throw us a line, throw us a comment. Of course,
yes.
Hey, if you got a known review, did you something you just loved it? Maybe something we missed. Hey, toss us a line. ksawmedia@gmail.com.
I'm sorry. I interrupted.
This guy crashing right into our own show. Man, all right. I know you're angry, but man, it's all right. It's all right, Chris.
I'd be happy if I had a jingle.
Just go pet your cat. It'll be all good.
Rory has left me alone, but yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Comment below. Send us an email, like he said. But also comment below. If you liked what you heard here, share it. That'd be great. We're trying to build something up here, even though I don't act like it.
But hey, thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you next episode, and hey, get out there, get ready for Wonder Woman. Can't necessarily recommend this one as much to you, but good luck whatever you go to see.
I am working on a cosplay Wonder Woman suit. Just like what she for the premiere, just like how she wears. And I'm gonna wear a hoodie underneath it.
Good. It's a pressurized hoodie, right?
I'll be ready for anything.
Okay.
Except
Sweet.
for air and pathogens in the air.
Oh man, love it.
And by the way, was it now this I'm just poking fun a little bit. Is it just me, or was somebody compensating for the length of that ship? Good God. Whatever. I'm just poking fun at that point. I don't really have a complaint on that. They were storing like a couple thousand people.
Right.
So.
Right. All right. But hey,
okay.
Peace out, people. Y'all have a good weekend, and thanks for tuning in.
See you later.